Hey everyone, it's Michael. I hope you're doing well today, and I have a review here for Batman Resurrection by John Jackson Miller. I like John Jackson Miller. I'm not the biggest fan of his work. He did a lot of things like the Knights of the Old Republic Star Wars comics. He did Kenobi, the Star Wars novel. That's amazing, probably his best work in my opinion. Miller's done a lot of work. And when I heard about this book, and now its sequel that just came out, because this first book came out last year, I didn't know what to think. I got a little hesitant, a little worried about how this would turn out, and I had I had some worries, and I'll get into those, I guess. But Batman Resurrection is the book I'm talking about. This is a spoiler-free review for anybody who happens to worry about it being ruined for them. Apparently, this book and its newest book that just came out are a duology, and that's it. And I didn't know that. They basically take place between Batman 89 and Batman Returns, the two Tim Burton films. I love both of those films, so I was super excited about this particular book, or this series, or whatever. Personally, I think they should keep it going if they can make some money off of this, but people don't read anymore. Outside of comics, people don't really read anymore. So I'm not surprised if these either got canceled after this newest book, or if they just were only pitched as a 2-book series. I don't know. But haven't read the new one yet. I don't even own it yet. Probably going to ask for it for Christmas. Anyway, Batman Resurrection. There's a lot of very, very good things about it. But a lot of my worries came true. So I guess the place to start with this, the book takes place mostly, after the prologue, 6 months after the original 89 movie, right? And I don't know if it ties to these new Batman 89 comics and stuff at all, so, don't even bother asking me about that in the comments. I haven't read those, matter of fact, so I don't really know. But 6 months after 89, I think it was even shorter time after that, basically, you had a guy named Basil Karlo, who, many of us know, is Clayface. And he was exposed to a particular chemical, because he was trying to become an actor. He gets exposed to a chemical back not too long after the Joker's whole demise, I think like a month after or something like that. And it destroys his face. Like, he turns into just a deformed, monstrous dude. But it's not like the Clayface from like the comics or the animated series where he can like turn into like a puddle and wait for you to walk in the room and then, eat you. It's not like that, some big monster. It's literally just a guy who can morph his face around. Think of like the old Vincent Price House of Wax type of movie. That's what he's like. And by the way, as an offshoot, I suspect that's what, after reading this, Mike Flanagan's movie's probably going to be like, if I had to bet. Which is fine, whatever. It depends on who the writer is, who that creator is that can utilize that well or poorly. Yeah. So anyway, Clayface has been locked away in an asylum for a little bit, and he eventually gets out. He has a doctor there who is somebody who is not a very nice guy at all. Immediately from the get-go, I was like, I don't like this character. He's in the book a lot. His name is Dr. Auslander. And I don't want to talk too much about him. He's kind of just a douchey character. What John Jackson Miller does with him is one of those grievous superhero movie and book sins that you see all the time. I'm not going to go into it too much, but I don't like it. I think it's a bad idea. But with that being said, I really don't like his influence upon Karlo, aka Clayface, just in case you forgot who he's called. I really don't like their relationship. That's in the way a lot to me. The book is like 420 pages long, so it's a little slow for what it is. My sweet wife got this for me for my anniversary present, or one of my anniversary presents. She got me a couple of Star Wars books, too, from the newer canon that look really good. And I jumped right into this immediately, because I was really excited for it. And it's not a bad book. I don't want you to think that at all. It's a solid read, but I think it's got heavy flaws to it, man. One of the biggest ones people complain about online is that despite the writing style being solid, to me, it's kind of basic, and you notice there's like no description at all about the environments or anything like that, and it's set in the Tim Burton Gothic universe. And I know that means you don't need to have that, because you know what you're getting already when you have Tim Burton's crazy, gothic, over-the-top Edward Scissorhands world stuck in your head, but with Batman running around in it. I get that we all are on the same page, but I still think it needs some of that, you know? Now, there's also a rumor that begins to spiral up in here that Clayface is kind of exposed to, but it's something that kind of haunts Batman throughout the book. There's a possibility, because of the title here, by the way, that the Joker may have not actually died at the end of Batman 89. And I'm not going to go into that at all. Again, spoiler-free review. I don't know if I'm satisfied with how that turned out. The mystery surrounding that, whether there is a possibility that he's back or not, some of the moments throughout the book are kind of weird. Like, for example, Batman is so horrified still about the Joker and some of the reveals at the end of 89, whether Joker actually killed his parents or not. The book brings that into question. Batman will have dream sequences in this book where he's like having a conversation with the Joker in mid-scene of things we saw in the 89 movie, like a different alternate version of those scenes. And those are fucking goofy. I just don't like those scenes at all. I think they should have been chopped from the book. If it was a movie, like if we got this now, I think it would be kind of cool. Because the writing for the Joker is fantastic. It feels like John Jackson Miller gets Jack Nicholson down so perfectly, his jokes and whatnot. He nails it, man. He nails it better than he does his newer villain, Clayface, and some of the other characters like Auslander. However, I do have to tell you this. Again, one of my biggest concerns were how was Miller going to capture Michael Keaton's Batman without Michael Keaton being there? He nailed it. He nailed Michael Keaton's writing, or his performance. He nailed the writing of that version of Batman where he's kind of this midway between Adam West and, kind of like the black and white, serial Batman, if you will. That's what Tim Burton's movie Batman was. It was kind of between Adam West and like what we get nowadays with the real actual comic Batman from like the 70s and 80s. And I love that. I think he nailed it so well, and you really don't understand how good he got Michael Keaton's Batman down until you read the book. The kind of humor he has, how he might end a scene with a one-liner that's just really punchy and well done. They didn't feel in the way or obnoxious. Miller nailed it in those regards. And matter of fact, my favorite character that he nailed perfectly was Alfred. I think this is something that you can imagine Michael Gough speaking these lines. I love Michael Gough, whatever his name is. I love him. He's my favorite Alfred. He's a huge horror actor I love from back in older movies. I love that guy. I'm really sad that he passed away a while back too. But you can imagine him playing this version of Alfred. It's perfect. It's perfect. And the relationship between Bruce and Alfred, especially with Alfred being older, is so well done. I loved it. You may wonder about like Vicky Vale, for example, because she's the love interest in the first Batman movie. That's in here a little bit. I don't want to tell you too much, but it's in here a little bit about Vicky Vale, why her and Bruce split up and whatever. It's nailed perfectly, in my opinion. I think it's nailed really well. Miller knows what he's doing. The problem is that I feel like, from what I've read from Miller over the years, whether it be the comics from Knights of the Old Republic, I think Kenobi is perfect, so I'm not going to use that as an example, but other things I've read of him, I always feel like John Jackson Miller needs a co-writer. And I don't know exactly what for, but to fill in the gaps that he may have on his writing unique talent, Because the guy's great. He has great ideas for stuff. He has a great ear for dialogue. It's everything around that, like his plotting, that I a lot of the time seem to think is the biggest issue. But this book feels like a Tim Burton Batman movie, but not a good one. You know what I mean? Like, I love Batman 89. I love Batman Returns. This feels more like Batman Forever to me. It just does. There's like transcripts that are sent at certain points, like at the end of certain chapters when we go to different parts of the book. And those are so weird, and I just don't think it fits in at all. The constant tying everything back to Batman 89, and I don't mean like the Joker stuff. I don't mean like the Vicky Vale thing. I'm talking about stuff like minor characters from that first movie that apparently, according to one of the author's notes in here, Miller had to go to the original 89 novelization to get those names of those characters to be able to use them at all, because those names weren't used for those characters in the movie. Little things like that are weird. The discussion about Batman and Joker killing his parents, I think, is really bad. I don't like that at all about the book. I think the way that's planned out, I think it's shit, to be honest with you. But I like the book. Does that make sense? Like, I had a good time. It's above average. But it's messy sometimes, man. And I'm really surprised. I see a lot of people love this book. There's people that I watch on YouTube who love and praise and worship this book. And I like it. I would keep it. Obviously, it's an anniversary present, so I'm going to anyway, even if I hated it. But I don't hate it. I like it, and I kind of want to reread it one day, later on down the road, just to pick up on more details about things, maybe some things I missed. I'm a little curious about some of the setups for the next book. I kind of feel like the next one is going to be better, just because some of the things I read by the end of this one, and some of the reviews I've seen on Goodreads, I've been very careful. I haven't been spoiled by anything. But looking at some of those things, it looks to me like the next book is more well received than this one was. So I'm excited to see what happens with that, and to see if I agree with that, for that matter. But Batman Resurrection has its issues, but the dialogue is not one of them. This feels, like I said, for the majority of it, it feels like a Tim Burton new Batman movie. In a lot of ways, it has the problems that a lot of modern-day Tim Burton movies have. But I liked it. I thought it was solid for what it was. I would love to hear, if anybody read the book, I'd love to hear what you all have to say about it down below in the comments. Let me know what you think about like Clayface portrayal here and some of the things surrounding him. Just try to be careful about spoilers for people. I don't want to ruin it for anybody. So anyway, Batman Resurrection, have you read it? Have you read the new one that just came out? Let me know what you think about all that down below. Do you think they're going to make more? I'd be surprised. I'm surprised this happened to begin with as a project. I'm surprised anybody funded this. I'm surprised Miller had the chance to do this. This is the kind of book that no one buys right now, and later on it's like $80 to get a copy. That's what it feels like to me anyway. So grab up a copy, check it out, support Miller. I think he seems like a nice guy. Anyway, what do you guys think? Thank you all for watching, guys. God bless you all. Catch you later, and goodbye.